Nation Review here, and welcome to another review. Today, I will be taking a look at the most recent entry into the WarioWare franchise, WarioWare Gold for the Nintendo 3DS. This game is kind of like a celebration for the franchise. I mean, it is the franchise's 15th anniversary since the first game came out in 2003, and right now it's 2018, so it's 15 years. Regardless, I'm going to be showing you guys my opinions on WarioWare Gold. Now before this review starts, I want to talk about something. I'm going to be talking about this game a little bit differently than I did with Smooth Moves. Instead of just talking about the game in general, I'm going to be talking about the game in a series of categories, and then I'm going to give my overall score at the end of the review. So with that said, let's get started with the first category. Number 1, Story. The story for this WarioWare game is nothing new for WarioWare games. For those WarioWare fans watching this video, let me know if you guys have heard this story before. Wario is sitting at home watching TV and he sees on the TV that a game is hitting high in sales. This gives Wario the idea to make games so he can make lots of moolah. Yeah, I told you that sounded familiar. This is the same kind of thing that happens in every WarioWare game. Wario is just sitting on the TV, and then he sees the news about a game that's high in sales, and then he gets the idea of making some microgames. Where have you heard that before? This just makes the story kind of generic, but it does have some pockets of originality to spice it up a little bit. For example, Wario has never done a gaming competition before, and there's the whole Luxville and treasure stuff, so I'll save the story for that. But other than that, the story isn't the greatest. Number 2, Gameplay. This category will talk about the game's controls and how the controls interact with the games. In WarioWare Gold, it uses the controls in 3 different ways. The first is called Mash, where you use the buttons like the plus pad and the A button to complete microgames. The second is called Twist, where you tilt the 3DS right and left. And the third is Touch, where you use the touchscreen to complete games. There's also a secret 4th one called Mic, where obviously you use the mic to complete microgames. But there aren't many games like that, and it's a little easy because it's very easy to use the mic in this game. Nonetheless, the controls for this game are very good in my opinion. I didn't have any issues with the controls whatsoever, so the controls are very good for this game. Number 3, Microgames. This is a unique category for WarioWare games because there's no other games with microgames, am I right? Anywho, we're going to be talking about the microgames for the game. There are a total of 300 microgames in the entire game, and while most do come back from other titles, some are original. The coolest part about these microgames is how it uses the 3DS for the controls. Obviously, the games from the other titles had different controls based on the system that they were released on, so the 3DS had to change the controls for each of those games. And the changes to the controls aren't bad. The only complaint that I can see with the microgames is that sometimes some microgames can catch you off guard, but that happens with most people, so it's not that big of a deal. The microgames in general are still quite fun. Number 4, Game Modes. Now let's take a look at the game's game modes. Within the game, there's the obvious story mode, which you must complete in order to get the extra secret modes. These extra modes are like challenges, and they're quite fun. You can also play the microgames themselves for fun. While there isn't many game modes, the game modes themselves are still fun nonetheless. Lastly, replay value. This category involves the game's replayability, and if you've seen my WarioWare Smooth Moves review, you'll know that WarioWare games have a lot of replay value, so instantaneously this category is perfect. You can always play these games again and again to try to get higher scores. And there are a lot of microgames to play too, so you won't get bored as quickly as some other WarioWare games as well. The replay value is probably the best category of all the categories that we've talked about. So, in general, WarioWare Gold is a pretty good game. There's lots of replay value, the microgames are fun, and there's lots of extra modes to do. And while the story ain't the greatest, the story isn't the biggest part of the game. It's about the replay value, because then you can just play this game again and again and again. But let me say this now, it's not as good as Smooth Moves. Hell, the game doesn't even use the 3D, which is the main gimmick of the 3DS, so why would you make a game for the 3DS that doesn't use the 3D? It's kind of stupid. Nonetheless, this game is still very fun to play. I'm giving it a final score of 7 out of 10. Sure, the game doesn't use the 3DS's main gimmick, the story is generic, and I forgot to mention this in the game modes category, but some of the game modes aren't the greatest. Alright, Wario, I've had enough of your games now. It's time to review some animated movies. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching my review. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more videos from me, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to never miss a video. You can also follow me on my Twitter, link is in the description. Until next time, this is Animation Review, signing out.